You can stand there while you. All right, guys, we're going to roll through this real quick. I know a lot of you guys haven't seen this because you weren't paying it with me. And just so you guys know, because I always think there's this misconception that as you're growing in a business, you just start becoming great at all these things. I didn't make this up. All you have to do to be great in this business is copy people, okay? I was a master copier through middle school and high school and college. I'm serious, I can even tell you the names of the people I copied off of, because now that I'm not there, it doesn't even matter. What are the, teachers can't really do anything. But I've mastered the art of copying successful people, right? So in doing so in this business, this guy that did this, just to give you a background on the guy who helped lay this out for me, because I'm not really good at PowerPoint. So some people say, well, Luke, I'm not good at PowerPoint. Well, neither am I. I emailed it to Tyler and he got it, right? And the guy that emailed it to me, all I was is the middle person. So this was a great training, though. The guy that did this, he's a multi-million-dollar earner in our industry. He did it in Excel Communications. He did it in Fortune High-Tech Marketing. And this guy knows how to build these businesses. He's out of Canada. Great guy, servant leader. But I'm going to roll through this. So are you ready to build your business? Zija offers the exact same opportunity to everyone. The only variable is you. And I think sometimes we say, well, that person can do it because of this, right? Well, after hearing this today, and I'll kind of throw some things in that maybe he didn't share. Because a lot of you look at someone who's the winningest coach in every sport in Kentucky. I love that. Do you like the sound of that? Doesn't that sound good? I love the sound of that. But what you also don't know is that if you went and looked at his athletes, he didn't have the best athletes on paper, right? And I know that because we went back year after year, and we'd stop in and say, so who's the star, whatever. It's just, well, we got some guys who are they fill the role. Something he shared last night was that when they won back-to-back state championships, the years I wasn't there. They used a third-string quarterback. Third string. And he didn't decide who was going to be the starter. He let the backs, and he asked the backs, who do you want to be your quarterback? And it was the coach's third choice. So state championship 2 years in a row, not because they had the best quarterback, right? But the person who filled that role the best. So a lot of times in this, we always say, well, they can do it because of this or they can do it because of that. But a lot of times you gotta take the team you have. And guys, if you really look at the most successful people in anything, it's not because they were destined to be the best at it, right? When I got started in Zija, everybody was like, you're never going to do this. You don't even know what the stuff does. Or you've never built a business. You've never had success. You just lost your job. Don't try to do this full time. Even the top earners in Zija were telling me, don't do it. It's a crash and burn. But when I hit Diamond, they're like, man, that's awesome. Keep rocking. So just know you're the only person that differs whether you have success in this or not. When you know what we're fighting for, it's following steps is much easier. And this goes back to your why. So you have to ask yourself why you're doing this. Guys, when I was drinking Zija, we call it sucking super mix. When I was just drinking the product, it's because I didn't know why I was going to do it. Therefore, I never followed any steps to building this business. But when my little girls came along, that's when I really got serious about growing this business. These are just some words I'm going to hit on real quick. Number one, you have to be aware of what you're doing and how to go about it, right? You can't play football if you don't know the rules of the game. If you always line up offside, trust me, you won't play long, no matter what team you're on. They'll get you off. But also your self-image. Confidence is one of the biggest reasons why people are going to join you in this business. If I went up to Scott, CEO of a company, made millions of dollars in corporate America, if I went up to him and said, Scott, got in this business, I want you to take a look at it. I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if you'd be interested, but will you take a look? You don't care. I'm not going to get Scott to look at my businesses. I said, Scott, listen, it doesn't mean that you're cocky saying, Scott, I've made a boatload of money. You need to look at this. Scott, hey, I respect you. You've been super successful in everything you've done. Most of the people in my business are just like you. They're success-driven, success-minded. You're one of the first people I thought of. Would you take a look at this business I'm in? I love it. I'm in it to win it, and I would love for you to take a look at it. One, I brought confidence when talking to him. I didn't tell him how great I was. I told him how great he was and that he was matching up to the people in my business that were doing what he does. So You have to have a self-image that you can do this. Your attitude has to be positive. Listen, nobody wants to follow, as Art Williams would say, a dull, disillusioned, daggum crybaby. Nobody wants to follow. Like, when my little girls cry, I can't even be around them. Like, I have to walk away. I can't take it. God gave me 3 girls for a reason. I'm still trying to figure it out. But, well, probably because if they were boys, I would be like, how can they play for Belfry and us live here? So then I'd be trying to get a jet and all this other stuff. I'll still get that. I would have to get it quicker. But your attitude, you have to be the upbeat person for your team. Listen, everything in life is ups and downs, okay? Everybody goes through them, but you have to be that light. I have people that literally just call me when they're having a bad day. I don't know if they think that I care to listen, because we know that I don't really care to listen to someone who's complaining, but they'll just do it and they'll say, you know what, I just felt so good to be able to get that off my chest, and I knew that you'd give me the kick I needed. There's a guy driving right now from Louisville to have lunch with me this afternoon. He's done nothing in our business. Came out guns a-blazing, killing it. Has done nothing. Now, life has happened, right? We all have those things that knock us off course. He really got knocked off course. But the one thing he said is, he said, man, every time I've called you, you've never given up on me. I'm like, well, because I wasn't going to stop growing my business. Right, that's a big thing. You can't stop. But I wasn't waiting on him to do something. I didn't get mad at him because he wasn't doing it. But now that he's ready to turn it back on, I'll just tell you, you'll hear of his name. Because when he turned it on, he was the guy that you're like, hey man, we need 10 people to join tonight with the biggest package in Zija. And somehow 10 people would join with the biggest package in Zija. He was one of those influential guys that could make things happen. But you have to have the right attitude, passion, purpose, and values. If you're not passionate about it, don't do it. Drink the product, that's great. This business, you have to be passionate about what you're doing. Hey guys, we got the best product on the planet. You can't argue that. I've tried them all. You can't argue about our products, period. The science is there. But you have to have a purpose on what are you doing this for, right? At the end of the day, what are you trying to get out of this? What I love about this business, it's different than anything else I could have done. Because through this business, I've met a lot of super successful people in business. But here's the thing. On a daily basis, they're super successful in what they're doing, but they're not touching lives the way we get to. You know what I'm saying? We get to impact people. There's 17,000 people I've been able to indirectly impact. Why in the world would they put 250 people in a room in Canada to hear a 20-something-year-old, right? I wouldn't get that influence in corporate America. I definitely wouldn't get that influence if I owned a traditional business, because they're going to be like, okay, well, who are you? They don't know. But in this business, you get influence, and you get to go out and push people to be more than what they are. So you have to have a purpose of what you're doing, and then push great values in other people. We can all agree that America is kind of getting where it's getting because the people who should be standing up have sat quietly, right? They've sat back and said, well, it'll fix itself. Well, it's not. Clearly, it's going, not the greatest way. So I think us as leaders, right? Leaders are readers. He talked about how he reads all the time. That's a clue. So whenever they kept telling me, Luke, you got to work on yourself more in the business, and you need to read, I was like, whoa, I didn't read in school. Now you're telling me I got to read in this business? And then they said, you'll never out-earn who you are. And that scared me, because when I joined Zija, I was broke. I was in a 600 square foot apartment. So I quickly said, well, hey, I got to get this stuff in my head. So that's why I adapted audios. I'm not the best reader, but I can listen. I got Les Brown right now in my truck. Here's what I love though too. Every morning I get to take my daughter to school. She knows who Les Brown is. She knows who Jim Rohn is. Every morning she says, Dad, can we listen to a motivational video? I like that I get to do that with my little girl, right? Now, the other thing is she's my little girl, so she doesn't get a choice. She's going to do it whether she wants to or not, because I'm a parent. Until she pays rent, she doesn't get to make choices. But I like that I get to instill the values and the things in my daughter as we get to do in our team, in our business. Because guys, listen, when you're growing this, just know anybody on your team, they're looking at you. They're looking to see, one, what you do, but two, what you're telling them to do. So whatever you do, they're going to do the same thing. And then eliminate the culture of low expectation. This is big. Obviously, he already hit on that. You have to raise the bar. We just, as my organization, I got on the phone with one of the other, actually every diamond on my team, we got on a phone call and we were chatting. We're like, what can we do to really push the bar, to really push it, just to get people that want to kind of shoot higher? So we threw out an incentive trip where we're going to take them to a beach if they do X. And then we threw out the expectation that we want to take 100. Now here's what that does. If you say 10, half the people on your team say, well, that won't be me, I won't be top 10. But anybody can be top 100, right? We don't know if we're going to take 100. I hope that it doesn't, make me go broke trying to take. I don't know how much it costs. We just kind of fill out this incentive. We don't know if we're going to earn on it or lose on it. But regardless, the more important thing is that people do what you expect them to do, right? And so after throwing out that incentive, I had people calling me from East Coast to West Coast. Hey, Luke, I really want to get this market rocking. What do I need to do? And it all started with them. I said, man, look, or lady, look, or whoever, male, female, whatever the leader was that wanted to take control of that market, I said, you have to lead your team by example. You have to be the one. I said, look, if you want 5 events a week in your market, you got to start off doing all 5 of them. You have to be that leader until others rise and say, hey, I want to be a part of this too. Okay, so that's what it takes to be successful. So trust me, it's only a period of time. I said, and once you get people mocking and following what you're doing, it gets real fun. When you got a market that's having 20 or 30 events a week. Persistence. Think You Can Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You can read these. I'm not going to read these to you. But you got to be persistent. The biggest thing about people that succeed in this and don't in anything is being persistent and consistent. Because I was in the gym business prior to this, working, training people. The difference is people would be so persistent and consistent with what we had talked about for them to reach their physical goals for a period of time, and then they'd let them go. And then they would wonder why they weren't where they wanted to be. And it's because in anything, you have to apply being persistent and consistent if you want to have success. Find a definite purpose, a definite plan.
Can you go back, Luke?
Sorry. Actually,
I thought there was a 4th.
I can't go back.
Okay.
But I'll give it to you. All right, commitment is key. This is by John Maxwell. You can read that, but guys, listen, commitment is the biggest thing, and not just in business, in anything. You got to be committed to whatever you're going to do. And it's not commitment. I love what Art Williams says. I listen to him at least once every week. But he talks about being committed, but also being excited. And winners can do it, not for just a season or a period of time, but they can do it until they get the job done or till they reach their goals. And I think that's huge in our business. Sometimes we have people that say, yeah, I'm going to commit to building this business for a year. I'm going to commit to taking this product for a year, whatever they commit to. The difference is it's a volunteer army, right? So we don't have employees. We have people who are building this with us, right? So we have partners, if you want to look at that. The worst part in our business is that it's a people business. The best part about our business is it's a people business. The hard part is getting people to commit to themselves. Because we see people that get in this and they'll go for 30-day or 90-day runs. And then they let up and they think they've arrived. And guys, I'm not telling you that I've not done that. Kevin knows. Back when, well, Jonathan, you know too, you were there. When I hit Diamond, I took 11-week vacations that year. And the reason why is because I was so mad that corporate America told me I could only take 1 week vacation a year, and they fired me for taking that vacation when I was a top performer, that I swore whenever we hit Diamond, we were going to vacation ourselves to death, right? So that year, we took 11-week vacations. We were like, let's just go here, let's go here. Now, for granted, we didn't have any kids in school at that point. We had one little girl, and her schedule was our schedule, right? Whatever we wanted to do. But the problem was I hadn't reached my goal. So then I had to get refocused on what is my main goal. Now, I'll just tell you, we went to Bora Bora, when was that? 2 summers ago. My wife needed that trip. She needed 7 days relaxing. After the 3rd day, I could have went home. Most beautiful place on the planet. And you can't argue that because it's fact. Beautiful place on the planet. Bora Bora, it's incredible. I could have went home after 3 days. If Andrea, my wife, would have been okay with her staying and me going home, I was so ready to get back to building the business. And not just the business, but I mean just getting back in the stream of things or whatever. Now, all these trips Zija sends us on, I don't even take them. Like, I give them back to Zija. I don't want a vacation because I'm on permanent vacation, right? I get to do every day what I love to do, which is we get to help people break out of the mold. Not work the 40-40-40 plan. Work 40 hours a week for 40 years to retire with nothing. that it's a myth. I was actually reading a thing that Forbes posted. This is off subject, but I'm going to tell you about it. I was reading the things that Ford posted about your 401k and being a 401k millionaire. And they said, in order to do it, which just so you guys know, if you retire and you have $1 million, that doesn't last that long with inflation. Just throwing it out. But anyways,